We live, we are live. How we doing, everybody? How we doing? Just trying to get. Alrighty. Let's. I have not been. I have not been looking at models for the past 6 hours. Not that long, but get the YouTube chat rolling here. Awesome. Um, so yeah, I mean, I just looked at the GFS quickly right before, but other than that, I really haven't looked at too much. But we're gonna break down the Clipper that's coming Saturday night, Sunday, and we're also gonna break down the storm threats going on next week. Actually, let me get the X chat pulled up too. And then we are also going to break down just what's going on with winter currently in general. So yeah, we'll just it's pretty much the rundown. Also, I gotta promote it. I've been editing this much of the day. My lake effect storm chase right here. Yeah, yeah. Give it a check out. Right, it's all my X clips plus stuff I didn't post combined in there, and you know I worked. I'm gonna say I worked somewhat hard on it, and um, you know, you might enjoy it, you might not, but I think Lake Effect Snow is always cool. So there's that. You want to check that out after? It'd be greatly appreciated. If not, just enjoy the stream and let's roll and do our thing here. So as we get going, we got let's see. So we got cold air in place. We do have cold air in place currently. We can take a look at our temperatures here. This today was one of the coldest days of the year, high temperature wise. We did not get very warm today, as you can see. We're going single digits and even negatives up there in up in Canada, and that's our cold air in place. And then boom, a bit of a 500 millibar signature that comes through here. Right here's our vort. And this is going to allow some light snow. It kind of see a little bit takes off the Atlantic as it gets closer to the Atlantic. We get a little bit more. We get some moisture flow off. You're right. We're not going negative or back in the flow. This is a very very progressive system here, but right, we're tapping into the Atlantic a little bit, and as that happens, you can see you even get almost a little bit of a snake tongue here, and a little bit of a dip in the jet stream as well. Um, a little bit more of a dip in our trough here at 500, and the more dip we can get, the better. Especially if we can drop this a little bit further south like we did a few days ago, just a little bit. Right, we're almost on the cusp now. We're literally going to be tomorrow night at this point. Looking at this, I don't know if I'll make a snow map yet, we'll see. But so but we're going to see how this kind of plays out. I think there's a good opportunity here for some people to make out, with especially people that were got just maybe some slop. I think there's an opportunity here for more than just that. If we take a look at some of these soundings here, we'll see some light snow potential, and unlike the last one, we'll have a little bit more problem saturating here. You can see in the dendritic growth zone, we're going to have more limited lift. Um, at least lower places here in southern New England, but we are going to be plenty cold, so it is going to accumulate fairly easily. That's what we got going. But I think there's going to be an interesting little potential convergence zone here. If we take a look at 700 here, some of these 700 dynamics start to consolidate a little bit. We get a little bit of a decent low pressure system to form, as you can see here, that intensifies farther in eastern New England, and that might allow for a little bit of a surprise showing for some places, I think. somewhere we could see somewhere down here further south, and then also up here we could see a little bit of a specialty potentially where these dynamics consolidate close to where over our 500 millibar, where our upper level low is, and that is going to allow potentially some people to get more than just a couple of inches and maybe three, four, five potentially. Um, in some isolates, just because we're going to be so cold, through our upper levels of the atmosphere that, somewhere in, Maine, southeastern New Hampshire, could make out decent. Just more hours of prolonged snowfall, and well saturated. So I think there's some opportunity there. And you take a look at, some of the changes here with the GFS over the past couple days, you can see it's similar stuff too. So we go run it back. See how far south we've dropped with this kind of. See where we were a few days ago, and then boom, kind of dropped this south just a little bit more, and that's allowed opportunities. I would love, um, we're almost amplifying this too much to where we're sending it all out this way, and not enough further south. So either way, I think there's a good opportunity here for a lot of people, um, in Massachusetts to get some accumulating snowfall. Right, not a ton, but maybe 1 to 3 inches, if not a half inch to an inch for many people at kind of at a minimum, for many across Massachusetts. And then I think some in Connecticut, Rhode Island could also get. I'm not really too keen on. You can take a look here at the HRR. OZ. I'm not too big on places further south just because you're not going to be well saturated. So maybe Hudson Valley. I'm not really too in on Pennsylvania right now, just given how dry we're going to be. You can see HRR, gets things a little bit further south going, but I'm not too big on. I'm not too big on places in Pennsylvania and Jersey being able to be able to get a good amount of, or not a good amount, but just really all that much accumulation out of this. Maybe some flakes, very light accumulation, very very light maybe, but not. I don't know if many places out there we're going to be talking 1 to 3 inches, or even especially 3 to 5, like will be in central New England. So that's kind of, well, I'm not too big of a fan of. Um, PA, and Jersey to get a good amount to get really much of anything. But we'll see. Again, a little bit of a surprise on where that Vort comes in. We'll get some the day of. We'll get, things will be a little bit clearer tomorrow. Not that it's a big event, and not that we're going to see massive changes, but it could be a little bit of a sharp cutoff for some people. And again, it's right. It's not a major event, but it's accumulating snowfall, and for me, anytime we get a chance for accumulating snowfall, it's always exciting. So that's why we're talking about it. And yeah, so if we go here to, let's take a look at the euro. Go to 500. Boom, boom. See it coming in. You're all right. Just a little bit too far north, in my opinion, to get the best action down here. So I'm really, when I look at this 500 millibar signature, I look at, it continues to drop south. I really think somewhere in that area is likely to get the most snow out of this. Again, you would really have to kind of dig this a little bit more. Just get a little bit more dig. Um, you're a little bit more of a notch in your vort there, and that could allow for maybe some places further south to get a little bit more snow. As you can see, Euro is pretty light. 18Z at least was pretty light with that run through. So we'll see what it does at 0Z. But again, it's not a major event, so there's no, um, no, it's not a high profile, so no need to get too worked up. Just expecting light, fluffy snow tomorrow night into Sunday, late tomorrow night into Sunday morning, and then if you get, if you're able to get 2 inches or something, take it as a win. But most people in southern New England, we're probably talking more of a half inch to an inch and a half for many people, with maybe a surprise. You get something like the HRR, maybe you could get just a little bit more. Let's see what we can look difference at 10 to 1 here. We go 48. So here's OZ right there. So there's 10. Is that Kuchera? Right, there's 10 to 1, and then take a look at Kuchera, right, indicating we're gonna be pretty cold all the way down through. So there's gonna be an opportunity for many to get fluffy snow versus the heavy wet snow we saw last time, which I think is Joe Mavis. I love the elevator music. I appreciate that. I don't know if I've seen your name before, so welcome to the channel if you have not been here before. But yeah, we got the Christmas music going on in the background, just live streaming, and that's what we do here. We love the live stream, break down what's going on. If we're not doing that, we're enjoying the weather itself or waiting for the weather. So yeah, appreciate you coming in, Joe. But yes, this is kind of what we're looking at. I would say this is maybe, kind of your higher end scenario. Maybe some of this, I'd be surprised if it would cut off that much. I think a little bit of coastal enhancement would be at play here, and some of these 1 to 2 inch totals would continue all the way to the coast. But really, I think you have some. I think this area here, you have some 3 to 5 inch potential. Um, in this area for the most part, a general 2 to 4 inches across that region, and then again you have some elevation, so you'll just continue to be colder. Um, we won't have to be saturated all the way as far as the surfaces. People at lower elevations as well, so that gives you more of an opportunity to cash in some of those those Berkshire areas. And also, I think this is also to do with there'll be some snow tomorrow as well, kind of some upslope snow that goes on in northern Berks and southern Vermont, where some people could get some snow really tonight into tomorrow. But the brunt of this Clipper system is really going to be coming through late Saturday night into Sunday morning, and that's where the most snow will be. So be curious to see again how quickly this low pressure system can get developing a little bit. I want one bigger. There we go, and that will really give an idea of you know how much snow some of these areas are can be able to max out here. And depending on where exactly it slides through, this area could shift a little bit farther north, or it could shift a little bit farther south potentially. Um, and we'd be talking a little bit more into northern New England to potentially get some snow, or sorry, the northern portions of southern New England to potentially get a little bit more than 1 to 3, and maybe some places get 3 to 4 inches. And again, just kind of building the snowpack for some people that already have it, and for others, maybe seeing their first true accumulating live snow event of the year. So I'm still curious to see how this goes out. I really love and invested in every snow event that happens, especially when I have a chance of getting snow. So that's always interesting. And yeah, so that's kind of where I stand right now with what's going on in regards to tomorrow night into Sunday. So yeah, kind of a nice system, and also look out for some ocean effect snow too after this. Keep an eye over the next few days for some ocean effect potential bands that could set up and make it to Cape Cod potentially. Keep an eye on that as well. So I'm curious. Again, I'm a person, so I like to see how things, especially when I start forecasting them. So we're gonna slowly move along here. You guys got questions about the Clipper? Again, you can see on the ticker, ask questions. We want to interact. I want to interact with you guys as much as possible. It's live stream. A lot of people more like to ask questions in versus in posts on X or in videos on comments. So again, I want to interact with you guys as much as possible. So just let me know. But we're gonna talk about what's going on with next week and the storms going on there. And let me just send a quick tweet out. Boom. Okay, let's get going. I like the track of this clipper, but way too dang dry. Yeah, that was kind of what we were talking about. We're not as saturated, so um, that's why you kind of see this cutoff here, and also the best of the upper levels, right? If you take a look here at 500 on this system, you can see that, right? 500 to me is critical, and when you look at 500, you can see it doesn't really call for the best to be further south, right? If you look at 500, it calls for the best accumulating snow to be in this region right here. And so, yes, we're dry places further south, maybe, but also the best upper level in dynamics are going to be set out here. The reason why we're getting snow further here is, right, look how progressive we are. We're very positive. So vorticity kind of stretches out. In other words, our energy kind of stretches out and it's not able to consolidate right away. So it kind of just keeps going because our storm's dropping in this way kind of. And so it just keeps going with the flow kind of and then eventually starts to wrap up more. And so that's why I look at a little bit of a potential convergence zone in the beginning stages of where this wraps up. I think somewhere in here could make out a little bit better, maybe some 3 to 6 inch totals out of there. But yeah, so that's kind of my thoughts with that. Again, so yeah, good point, Joe. I appreciate everybody in the YouTube chat. If you don't mind, I just exited out of the X chat as accidentally. If anyone dropped a chat in there, so sorry. Um, if you asked a question in there, but let's talk about. Yeah, appreciate everybody in the YouTube chat. You don't mind liking the stream so we can keep expanding. That would be awesome. But let's continue on here. Looking here, just again, it doesn't matter the model. What we have here on Monday has gotten a little bit more interesting here. I want to zoom out here. Let's go to Weather Bell, and we can go to North America zoomed out. And so now we have a little bit of an interesting setup here where if we stop it here, notice we have a 1030, we have a strengthening high pressure that's coming in. Right? We have a strengthening high pressure, right? 1031, 1033. If you think this system, especially not a ton of juice to this either. If you think this system is just going to bully this high pressure out of the way, right? It's not a super, super strong high. We're not looking at like a 1040. What is a 1033? It's a legitimate high pressure. And this isn't a super strong system. We can go to 500 here as an ad comes on for the music. We don't listen to that. And we slide here to, where was that? Was it here? No, 500 fort. Right? Not ridiculously strong, right? It's a weakening. We're stretched out. This is not a amped up system coming in here. What comes in behind it is definitely more so. But the beginning part, right? It's kind of two parts of this system. So the beginning part kind of gets, we see this stretched out, and part of it gets sent back here. The rest of it comes up here with the southern vort, right, riding along from the southeast ridge, and these two are kind of combined, and we're going to see a little bit of a storm here. They keep weakening this, though. This high pressure has really done a great job to kind of block everything out here and make it really difficult for something. So if you just think that this high pressure is going to go away, I mean, we see this time and time again. I'm going to bet on this for the high pressure to win out here, and that's why I get a little bit excited, just a little bit, about what could happen on Monday night here, because low-level cold air winning out in this scenario is going to allow some people to get a potential front-end thump. How far south? It's still a little bit too far out to have a big idea yet. I kind of want to get past tomorrow first, so I want to get to Sunday and check back in there. I know we're close still, but I'm still focusing on the Clipper and want to see how that goes. All right, but there's our Clipper. You can see moving out, and that's going to intensify. Right, you can see this turns into a good snowstorm here in the Canadian Maritimes, and then in behind that comes that high pressure. So this interaction will play a part. That's why I kind of want to wait a little bit too. Will play a part in defining how this storm system turns out, and then the one behind it that comes in through on December, 12th to 13th. So it's all, again, the pattern's always connected. For me, I always like the domino analogy. You push one domino down one way, that's one scenario. You push it down another, you make another scenario, and ultimately, every different way you push the domino, you just create all these alternate scenarios. And so for me, it's like you got to kind of wait and see what's going to happen in behind that. And then, right, we get a real powerful system that comes in behind it. Regardless of what happens, eventually that ramps up. So it's kind of some of the changes we've seen with next week. Um, Over the course, or forget changes, just what we have is we have a southeast ridge, right? We have it just in general. We have we have a big ridge off the Gulf of Mexico into the eastern seaboard, right? And what we've seen a little bit before is this wasn't really as present at all, and then we trended to this was really present, and this was very interior, and we didn't have any high latitude blocking really present either. So it was kind of just a southern vortex of energy, just boom, scooting its way up and providing rainfall. Now this turns into potential snow, and potentially I think there's going to be some mixed potential as there. Well, some freezing rain and maybe some sleet as well, because remember, low level cold air, as the storm system moves north, it's going to keep trying to push north, and as it does, warmer air in the higher levels of the atmosphere, you know, it might come back after, and you might, be near freezing at the surface or below freezing. But as soon as you go above that 32-degree line and a sounding, it makes it very difficult to snow. In fact, you can't snow. Right? For example, let's pull up a sleet sounding. We can't do it here. Go to GFS. I don't know what it did with the system on Monday yet. Is there one? Right here. It's Canada, but it plays the point. Right? So I see how we go to almost a freezing rain sounding here. So we go really over, right? Here's our 0-degree line. This goes all the way up through the atmosphere, right? So this is a vertical column in the atmosphere here, and that's our 0-degree line. And so the minute we cross the 0-degree line, that's when we're going to start canceling our ability to be snow. We have this red temperature line has to stay to the left of that 0-degree line the whole time. We have to be below zero all the way through in the atmosphere until the very end at the surface. You can be above freezing at the surface and still snow. That's why, if you've heard that before, that can be the case. But here we go back, and then we come back, we go over that 0 degree and come back, so we mix. So I think there could be an opportunity there for maybe some front end snow and some sleet, freezing rain, to come through, especially if we're at 1036 high. Good luck getting all this warm air to come up and surge here. A little bit of an underestimation and just kind of knocking out this CAD. Good luck doing that. I think the GFS is underestimating that a little bit. I think the euro, for example, is handling that just a little bit better as of now. Again, it's just based on past experience. If this wasn't the setup to get that, especially with a stronger high, GFS is at 1036. Right, euro eventually gets to like 1035. So we're gonna have a strengthening high pressure, that system in place, and I think that's gonna make it pretty difficult to knock that thing out. So it's hard to say with accumulations at this point, but there's definitely going to be an opportunity for something, especially in central and northern New England. There's going to be an opportunity there. So that's kind of Monday, and then in behind it we get another system, right? So we talked about part of it doesn't fully wrap in the system here on Monday. Part of it gets left out, and we get kind of a low from polar vortex here that comes on in. And here's where the caveat comes in. How far down does this press? And then, where do we go? I mean, I've seen some of this. Reminds me a little bit of The blizzard of 20, not in the sense you're going to think, not in a comparison as a storm, but more so as do ensembles support what? A storm happening on Monday? I mean, yeah, it's pretty clear. We're within 4 days of that now, so 3.5 days pretty much now. So we're pretty much we're well within. This isn't so far out, um, Mike. So are you talking about this one? Yeah, there's ensemble support for this one as well. Specifics are a little bit hard to nail, but I'm gonna kind of talk about this one for next Wednesday, Thursday, kind of what's going on. And what I was gonna say is I kind of left you guys on a cliffhanger, just throwing Blizzard of 22 out, but it reminds me of this in a you know what? Pull this up. Blizzard of 2022. Right, it's not the same setup whatsoever. Just I want it one frame back actually. Can I go? Yes, right here. You see the similarities, kind of. Bring it back. You see the similarities. Again, it's not the same system, and the TPV is in a completely different angle, right? This is like more connected in a different angle, but we have this kind of shit. What the problem that ended up happening? Why this almost busted? It really almost busted this storm, but that band came through, especially down here for Jersey and Boston. But some of this, depending on the angle, and you have to wrap all this energy around the trough, and you have to wrap it in, can be difficult to consolidate the energy with this kind of system, just with how big it is. And so it could be something to watch, especially when we're already pretty sheared out and stretched out. Along here, you can see that all this energy that's like sheared out, probably too much, and it can't even wrap all of this in here as well. So I think this is I think we're not done seeing some pretty big changes with this system. But at a minimum, there's an interior snow threat with this storm, right? See how stretched out it gets, really gets stretched out, but look how close you are at the same time. It really what it comes down to here is you're going to need a little bit of yeah. Which system? Which system next week, Mike? Monday or Wednesday, Thursday? Either way, both systems are pretty supported that they're going to happen. The specifics of them, it's a little bit hard to say, but these two storms are happening in some way or another. To really answer your question, it doesn't really matter which storm you're talking about. System looks gnarly. Wow, yeah. Next, there's going to be something big brewing next mid to late next week. The details are just TBD. And so you get really close, man. You get the angle if you could really press on this angle, and the trouble is, look how see these height lines here. Yeah, really, you're just a little bit too much ridging going on just off the east coast, and that makes it difficult to really allow something to sit in a little bit more. And that's kind of the problem I keep running into with this to get potentially places further southeast. But yeah, this could be potentially something that further north we could look at potentially some accumulating snow go on here. Again, the details still TBD with this, very much so, but it is something to keep an eye on. It is something to keep an eye on because it's going to be happening, and I think it's going to be a matter of where. You're not late till live. Hey, sorry, I'm late. I'm plowing snow in Charlton, Massachusetts tomorrow night. Do you think it's a 1 to 3? And does it have a chance? We did talk about that. Um, Charlton, Mass is not going to be a good spot for plowing. I don't think there's going to be too much plowing required in, um, um, especially in South Central Mass. I would favor a little bit farther north, talked about this was kind of the region I favored for the most accumulating snow potential up there in central and northern New England for that system. Oh, no ads. We don't do that. So this system comes through. Again, appreciate everybody here in the X stream, and appreciate everybody here in YouTube chat. You don't mind leaving a like; it's greatly appreciated. Um, keep going here. Yep, Mike. Wednesday, Thursday, still same thing. There's plenty of good support here from ensembles that we're going to be getting. Yep, it's right there along on all of our ensembles. Just a different version where details are still very TBD with that. So yeah, so there's this one keeps me really intrigued because there is a lot of cold air to work with here. There is a lot of cold air to work with. It just really comes in a little too late in the backside. Now, if you get this to come in sooner and you press, you could what you could do is you could allow for more stream interaction to pull this in. But if you can get your ridging to kind of relax just a little bit more, and also if we zoom out here, again, we look at often the changes for how we can get snow here. Not Yeah, I mean, again, this isn't I wasn't saying that this is a good storm for, coastal I-95 here. It's just something to watch. And again, models change. So it's really about figuring out the end solution and not the current solution. Models change. If we look at what this thing showed, um, we go to North America. If we go to It's just a few days ago, that was what we looked like 3 days ago. That's what we look like now. That's just 3 days. There's 2 days ago. That's what we looked like 2 days ago. That's what we look like now. So it's just, I mean, it's not to say that we're going to get a snowstorm, all out snowstorm for I-95 up the East Coast, but it's just pointing out that there's a lot of different changes that models still need to succumb to, and we're just not quite there yet. We're 5 days out with this system, 4.5, 5 days out, and we're just not quite there yet. Yeah, no problem. CMD WX in Massachusetts a lot, my guy. For a Maryland folk, I like it. It's coming up in my territory up here. So yeah, again, but when I see this, sorry, I see this. It just keeps me interested because even though this ridging here is a problem, we kind of look at some of the trends. We've been able to build a little bit more instead of being here. We've been able to build a little bit more of a bend in this block. Not so much that much, but we've been able to get a little bit more of a bend. And if we can continue to do that, then maybe, just maybe, we can increase our chances further southeast. Right? This doesn't guarantee a lot. Again, the setup does not favor right now just of where we're going, of where we're neutral and where we're going negative. This really doesn't favor. Um, just for example, this was a Boston snowstorm right here. And, we're still positive at this point right here versus being neutral right here further west. So, all right, it would be a little bit difficult to be able to wrap all this up and for it not to be an interior snowstorm with what it shows now. See the difference in our blocking here? Right, we've been able to relax a little bit more and kind of push things. It's the least scientific way to say it, but me, I'm not all for that. No, don't apologize. I love I love sparking opinion, interest. It allows me to go further in depth and look at things. I encourage interactions. Love when you seem like you know this stuff pretty decently too. So I like interacting. So, but you're right. This is a tough setup here at 500, just like this. But changes are going to come. One another thing I would like is if we could press the western ridge a little bit more, a little bit further east. That could allow for this to develop a little bit later, and we can maybe develop this again a little bit further east. That's really what we have to do. You have to get this more here. It's a big change, but that could allow you a little bit more wiggle room. And then if you get more of a block to build in here across Canada, then that could potentially allow you to slow the system a bit, make it a little less antifrontal, and we could potentially allow, even with this setup, we do get kind of a snowstorm to build in eventually. If you look here at 500, right around here on Thursday, you do get a bit of a snowstorm to build in kind of eventually, just a little late. So so there's an opportunity here. Again, it's more so just keep an eye on it. It's not so again, don't obsess over the P-type map, but it's just highlighting that there's a potential for some snow here. TMDWX, yeah, I work with a company who plows snow from the Mid-Atlantic to the Northeast. I work for them here in Ireland, but if it snows in MA, they send us up there to help them out. Oh, that's fun. I got a lot of plow people that follow me, so it's I always love doing what I can to help them out, give them some insight. Um, do what I can, hopefully. Let's see. Bubba News on YouTube. They're taking us to 50 inches on Monday, and almost like 50 degrees. Almost like the short-term mild trends as PNA and the negative and NAO battling out. So I think um, it's tough. I was eventually going to transition to some of the overall pattern stuff, but yeah, I think we're going to get a little bit more transient here mid-month, but the cold air is still there to work with. We're not completely shutting it off and losing the ability to work with it. So we're still gonna see storm threats. I think through the middle part of the month, but we're not going to be locked in. We're not going to have as much locked in like we did this pattern. And the reality is, unless we get this one to hit here, end of the pattern, right? There's always an opportunity. End of the pattern, and this would be your last hope, kind of. Reality is, we didn't convert on this. We had cold, and oftentimes, again, with cold air suppressing system, more difficult to be able to get a sizable snowstorm. Um, a sizable snowstorm for the Northeast, but you still want to convert when you have cold air in place, and we did kind of. We were able to get something out of it. We're going to get a couple clippers, and we're going to get potentially some snow next week as well for some people. But reality is you didn't get the big snowstorm, at least so far with this pattern. Again, end of the pattern, keeping out. So far we haven't. So you would like to convert on the opportunities you get, but I don't think this is going to be a terrible winter. I think there's going to be opportunities. So don't think it's the end of the winter quite yet, or don't. I don't know why people put that out there always, but we talk about that all the time. Winter is still more than alive. Actually, winter started just 5 days ago, 6 days ago, believe it or not. So we're just starting. Statistically, northeast places are going to be in better shape. Indianapolis, I have not looked at snowfall records the past couple winters, but I do know for 3 of the 4 major sites here in southern New England, including Hartford, Providence, and Boston, statistically, they're going to see more snow than they have the last 2 winters, and statistically, they're likely to see at least 15 to at least 20 inches of snow. At least 20 inches of snow. Statistically, we'll see how exactly it plays out. I would say yes, they're gonna get more. They're definitely gonna get more than they had the last 2 winters, and it'll be better. So that's kind of where I'm at right now for winter thoughts there. Yeah. So, but here on the Euro for next for next, you can see the Euro has a strong system too. I'd argue it wraps it up a little bit better, which it does, and you get a little bit more of an interior storm. Kind of just you're not if we pull it back here, it really it's a little bit broader. I mean, it's similar, but really what it does, it wraps in more here, and we're able to see that upper level low develop a lot, and you get more of an interior snowstorm to develop. Stronger. So the angle too of our ridging too is a little bit different, forcing this to go farther north and not allowing to sink and drop in as much as the GFS. That's why you're closer with the GFS on those model runs versus others like the Euro. We can look at the Canadian. I didn't look at that. The Canadian has not had a hot start to the winter, though, I will say. Canadian's kind of like a middle ground. Canadian kind of digs like the GFS, but pulls it up a little bit more like the Euro. So Canadian's kind of a mix of both, and I think it's kind of done that a lot. What I love about the Canadian is, the ridging is not as prominent here, but would love to pull this out, force this a little bit east, or you could also press your ridge a little bit farther well. We have to set this up about 150 miles east, to allow at least more people further south to get involved. Love it. People will call it the end of the winter before they see the first snowflakes. So good premiere tonight. Decent snow for you all. Yeah, that was, if you didn't see it, this was whatever. I did post a lake effect snow chase um, that I did in New York last week. It was a lot of fun. It was very brief. Wasn't even planning on it before, but yeah, I enjoyed it a lot. And then I also did get snow this week, as well, posting the videos. I might start doing snowstorm vlogs this winter. I might. Editing, I really am precise with the details, so editing takes a lot of work on that stuff. I like to be. A lot of you know, if you see me make my snow maps before, my attention to detail um, um, is almost second to none. It doesn't mean the quality is unbelievable, but I obsess over all the little details, and trying to do right by them. So yeah, so I might put something together too. But if you do follow me on X, you will see that um, I do post those videos during storms and the storm updates on X. If you follow me there. So yeah, I appreciate everybody linking up again. We're going to be expanding on YouTube this winter, and we're going to expand. We're going to keep expanding as we do on X always, but we're going to have a good. All our streams will be multi-stream like they have before, and I'm just excited to see for what this winter is gonna come. Just as long as the storms come, man, it's gonna be an awesome winter on here. So I'm excited for y'all. What we got going, and excited for myself too to see kind of how this progresses this winter. So we can take a look, see what's going on in the longer range. Here in the GFS, still only 220. Anything up here in the St. Lawrence Valley in New York? Uh, are you talking? Let's see. Oh boy, you're testing me. St. Lawrence? Are you talking Upper New York? You talking up here? I'm testing my knowledge again. I want to answer your question though. And why Skywatch? Go to 500. Not even enough for a sled yet. Oh, big sledding guy we got here. Embracing the youth. I love it. I'll search it up for you. I don't usually like to search it up for people, but I will. I will for you. Um, St. Lawrence Valley. Yeah, Potsdam. Yeah, up by there. You guys haven't got any good snow yet, really? I'm surprised. You haven't got any? There's no way. You didn't get any last week? Surprising. I thought you would have got some by now. You should get some this clipper that rolls through. You should get some tomorrow night. At least 1 to 3 inches there, at least. You don't see how they can capitalize. I mean, it's La Nina coming on. Is it? Last I saw is La Nina was forecast to become neutral a lot sooner. But I don't see how you can make an assumption now that I-95 winter is pretty much over. I just like it's just gets so specific. I mean, I put the tweets out all the time. Um, I just don't know how people. I just don't know how you can make an assumption this early on. Like I really don't. Like all it takes is one storm for many of I-95, and that's it. And your winter is complete. So it's just out of yeah, yeah. I know where you're talking. Yeah, I'm surprised you guys haven't got more. Where the heck is the points? Oh, maybe it's Enso. Where's that data available? I'm trying to find it. Yeah, I mean, last I checked, there really was no strong La Nina forecasted. It was the forecast was a weak La Nina. We were already close to a weak La Nina. I think I checked like no more than a week ago, and supposed to be a weak La Nina. And it was supposed to get towards neutral. Here's the current look. Here's the percentages. Yeah, weaker La Nina. Let me get the temperature. Yeah, almost all of these are below -1, and most of these are within minus zero point 0.5 and trending as we get towards the end towards neutral. So yeah, I mean, I think that gets I think that gets blown out of proportion in my opinion, especially so early on in the winter. I think, I mean, statistically, excuse my English, uh, I-95 Northeast will likely do better than they have in past winters. We'll see how it plays out. I'm not going to say I have the crystal ball, but lowlands up here. Lake effect catches us if wind is southwest. Okay, yeah, you're up there. Yeah, I know where you are. Um, they're by St. Lawrence. I've been up there. Yeah, 2022 blizzard was a big one. That was a big one. I remember that one, not the New England one, but the Buffalo and the upstate New York one. That was a big one. But let's see. Let's go here to some of this longer range stuff. Doing all right with battery. Fantastic. Alrighty. Let's go to North America here. Uh, we can go 12Z EPS. Where are you at? Here we go. So we build in. That's probably your warmer period right there. Month. Late next week. Early November. That's probably it right there. We go to GFS. We'll see, the models changed too, right? We were supposed to be really warm with this upcoming, and look how we trended. So you can't get too caught up into what a lot of these ensembles show as well. Oh, this is only OD, so it doesn't go out too far. But how does that trend for? Not that different. The 18Z. And that's pretty good agreements, but again, maybe the subtropics kicking in there. See a little. Maybe a subtropic, something in the subtropics cooking there. It's possible. Take a look here at temps. Right, your cold air's it's there though, right? It's there though. You're just not tapping into it. You can see it's you're just not tapping into it. And then you get wavy again. You get a chance to tap into it. So your cold air is there, right there. That's right now. And your cold air is there to work with at some point next week too. So it's really going to be a matter of how this plays out. Tell that's the reality. I don't like blowing smoke, so I don't have a clear feel, especially on this one. I would say my feel is that there's going to be a lot more changes. Um, and that sounds cliche, but I don't think this is anywhere close to locked in. If you look at where we were just a couple days ago compared to where we are now, evidence suggests there's going to be a lot more changes, and I'd agree. Hmm. I know, I know. Could be something interesting. Cold air need to be a little bit further south, but it's way down the line. You get 40 below wind. Yeah, I mean, this whole area up here, whole Great Lakes region up here, they get real cold. They get real cold. Up here too, northern Maine gets super cold. But yeah, I mean that's really all the you know right now we just kind of got to wait and see. But we wanted to cover it now that we're like closer to like the tracking range with some of this stuff. especially next week. It was something to keep an eye on. I've been talking about those threats for forever now, and um, they didn't end up verifying like I thought they would, but they were there. It's Canadian, zero Z, little something maybe. That's like the same thing. Look, it's doing the same thing. That's more Euro like. Canadian does what the Euro does, or GFS. I forget. That's Canadian does the GFS for next week, December 16th. All right. So here's the thing. I think there might be more opportunity to warm up in this time frame here, but don't get your cold air can still be tapped into up here from the. Don't get too locked in on ensembles. Let's go to. Yeah. So we're getting less and less away from locking in patterns now and more into more drastic short-term changes. That's how we're evolving. Um, how we're evolving across time now. That's the current climate we're evolving into for winter time and just in general is more drastic swings. Weather that doesn't stick around as long and is more impactful. Or sometimes you do get those drastic swings can turn into for a prolonged period of time, and they get so drastic, like the prolonged droughts, for example. So that's just kind of where we're evolving to in terms of in terms of patterns, just in general. That's what I think made this early December so impressive. People getting 5 to 10 degrees below average already. To start the month. Might be the first below average December in a long time if we don't see a drastic warm up later. If the St. Lawrence River freezes all the way to Canada. Yeah, I don't know the area too well, but now you got the St. Lawrence, you got Clarkson up there, you got some good hockey schools up there and by the Canadian border up there in northern New York. What was I gonna look at? Some icon. What was it? Ensembles? Frick, I forget. Oh, we're gonna look at GFS lower. No, we can't. We can't go back that far. It's the freaking problem. All right. What if we did here? Oh, maybe we could have. Hold up. Let me check. Yes, we can. I mean, it's still above average. I want to see how that compares to. More cold air to work with. I really want the ensemble though. Give me the Jeffs. Right, you look at this time frame. That was not the same as it was a few days ago. See the difference? That's just 3 days, and that's ensembles. That's the collective mean right there. So it just goes to show, right? These solutions down the line are definitely not locked in. Lived through a proper 98 ice storm up here. 2 weeks. Yeah, I've lived through some bad ice storms too. Not too many actually. Some, a couple. We don't get as many prolific ones up here in southern New England. Most part, it's either rain, sleet, or snow, and the freezing rain events are usually lighter, um, especially for a non-higher elevation. I have elevation, but not a ton. A little less than 600 feet. So, let's see, did that euro roll? I don't think it did. This thing ain't roll out. All right, let's leave it there. Let's actually, for those of you that came in late, uh, plug it again. A last question: do you see a return to troughing and storminess at the end of the month after the warm up mid month? It's, it's hard to say. I know that's not the answer you're looking for. Um, we are in a little bit of a zonal stretch right now, so I would lean, and we'll change that next week. But you know, my gut says is there will be some winter opportunities towards the end of the month. Just from how this plays out, I think this could have been a tease right here, and then mid month we get more transient, and then towards the end maybe we get an opportunity there. But it's hard to say. I don't have a clear cut answer for you. I'm not great in the long range, especially when I'm breaking down a lot of short term threats and not focusing too much on it. I don't have the best I don't have the best answers for you there. But those are kind of my preliminary thoughts. But yeah, this is my latest video I just posted. I'm not gonna lie. I worked hard at editing this. I was spent the night of and much of today editing this. So you don't mind giving it a view, see what you think. It was a lot of fun. It was very brief. I'm not gonna lie. It wasn't a long one, but it was intense. Driving those conditions were tough. So I appreciate everybody that came in, and we'll likely stream again tomorrow night. If not, I'll keep you updated with posts on the Clipper, and we'll go from there. I appreciate